Other OET candidates have lied to you. They've told you things about OET that simply aren't true. In this video, I will tell you what those lies are, I'll tell you the truth, and what you can do to implement this information in your exam preparation. Let's start with the first lie. You can use a template for the OET letter. Now, while your approach to the OET writing test will be the same for every set of case notes, the information that you select and the order in which you present it will depend on the task. Now, while your approach to the OET writing test will be the same for every set of case notes, the information that you select and the order in which you present it will depend on the task. Do not use one template for OET writing. Instead, learn how to identify information that is essential, information that you can omit, and then learn how to know which order to present the information in your letter. All you have to do is ask yourself these questions. What information does my reader need to know in order to continue treating the patient? And what is the most logical way for me to present this information in the letter? Once you can do that, you are on to a high-scoring letter. Lie number 2, doing just practice tests is enough. Now, while doing practice tests is of course a very important part of your OET preparation, you shouldn't only be doing this. Instead, you need to learn strategies and techniques to implement during the exam to ensure you get the highest score possible. For example, after taking a practice reading and listening test, carefully analyze the answers that you got wrong. Can you identify why those answers were wrong? Do you understand how to avoid making the same mistakes in the future? Likewise, for a speaking or writing test, after you've done the practice test, make sure you get feedback from a teacher who can tell you what you've done well, where you're going wrong, and how to improve. Remember that each practice test you do should teach you something so that you can improve your score with the next one that you take. Lie number 3, you should try to make your accent sound like a native speaker to get a high score in the speaking test. Now, people worry far too much about their accent, and in fact, if you look at the OET speaking assessment criteria for intelligibility, it only requires your accent to be understandable and clear. You are assessed on your ability to speak clearly and be easily understood. So, instead of trying to sound like a native speaker, focus on making your pronunciation clear and easy to understand. Use the right tone of voice and use stress, rhythm, and intonation while you are speaking. As long as your pronunciation is clear, you will get a high score in this speaking criteria. Lie number 4, you only need to learn medical vocabulary. Remember, the OET is not a test of your medical knowledge. Of course, having a good knowledge of medical vocabulary and more complex medical terms will definitely help you in the reading and listening test, but for these, it's really more important that you learn the appropriate strategies. Remember, in the OET speaking test, you'll need to know how to explain complex medical terms in layman's terms for your patient or caregiver. They won't understand medical vocabulary, so in this part of the OET test, you'll need to learn how to simplify your language and explain to someone who is not a medical professional. Lie number 5, OET is easier than IELTS or other English language tests. Now, it is true that some candidates prefer OET because of the familiarity of the healthcare context with which the test is based on. However, you still need to learn exam strategies. Just being a medical professional is not enough to make the test easy. So never assume that OET is easier. You need to learn exam strategies and you need to fully understand the assessment criteria in order to get a high score. Now, if you're feeling lost and you don't really know which exam is best for you, you can check out our video which explains the differences between OET, IELTS and PTE, and the advantages and potential disadvantages of each one. So why not check out that video after this one? We will put a link in the description below. Lie number 6, it's not necessary to do speaking practice. Now, this is an interesting one because many people feel that if their speaking skills are already good, they already have fluency and confidence, they don't need to worry about practicing any role plays. Well, in fact, this is not true. In order to get a high score in the OET speaking test, it's essential that you understand the test format and you have a good understanding of the assessment criteria so that you know what the examiner is looking for and how you can score highly in each criterion. So in order to get a high score in the speaking test, you do need to do plenty of practice role plays, ideally with an experienced teacher who can give you feedback in each of the criteria and help you improve your score. And the final lie is that you can study and prepare for the OET exam by yourself. Now, a really important part of any exam preparation is that you get feedback from an experienced teacher who knows the exam, they know what the examiners are looking for, and they can help you identify your strengths and weaknesses. So it's actually really important while you're preparing that you get feedback from that expert OET teacher. Of course, some period of self-study is also very important, but make sure that you do get that valuable feedback, especially on your speaking and your writing. Remember, if you don't get feedback from a teacher, how will you ever know where you're going wrong? You won't. Now, if you want to pass your OET on the first attempt and avoid spending thousands of dollars in retakes, we would like to invite you to our Swoosh English Fast Pass Masterclass. In the masterclass, you will get lots of expert tips and advice. You'll learn some exam strategies and the best way to do your exam preparation so that you can pass your OET on the first attempt with flying colours. So click here to grab your seat. It's absolutely free to join and we will see you there.